Strategy is the most important factor in winning, not brute force. How might Iran leverage its terrain and defense strength in a potential conflict, as viewed through Sun Tzu's strategic principles? Sun Tzu advises, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Faced with superior military forces, Iran may rely on asymmetric tactics. In the ever-shifting geopolitical landscape, understanding how a nation might defend itself is critical. With tensions escalating due to Iran will use all its strength to retaliate against Israel for killing its guests, attending the presidential inauguration in its territory and subsequent instability, Iran's strategic response to potential conflict has come under intense scrutiny. Applying Sun Tzu's ancient wisdom from the art of war, this analysis delves into how Iran might leverage its terrain, asymmetric warfare, and deception tactics to navigate the looming threat. In this video, we explore how Iran's conflict strategies align with Sun Tzu's art of war. From leveraging terrain to asymmetric warfare and diplomatic maneuvers, find out how ancient wisdom applies to modern geopolitical conflicts. Subscribe now and explore more in-depth analyses of global conflict, strategy, and how ancient wisdom still guides modern geopolitics. Don't miss out. Stay informed with our latest updates. The year is 2024. The world watches as a familiar tension grips the Middle East. This time it's Iran, a nation steeped in history and riven by internal divisions, that stands on the precipice. The unexpected demise of President Ebrahim Raisi, a hardline figure in a fiery helicopter crash, has plunged the country into chaos. Raisi, a cleric closely aligned with the supreme leader, was a controversial figure on the world stage. His tenure was marked by accusations of human rights abuses and brutal crackdowns on dissent. His sudden absence has left a void, a vacuum of power that various factions within Iran are scrambling to fill. The nation simmers with unrest. From the bustling streets of Tehran to the ancient cities of Isfahan and Shiraz, a palpable tension hangs in the air. The Iranian people, particularly women and the younger generation, are demanding change. They yearn for greater freedoms, for a voice in their destiny, and an end to the oppressive measures that have stifled their aspirations for too long. The regime's response to these cries for change has been swift and brutal. Security forces have cracked down on protests with ruthless efficiency, arresting and detaining those deemed troublemakers. The streets, once vibrant with the spirit of dissent, are now patrolled by the ever-watchful eyes of the state. Fear and uncertainty have cast a long shadow over the land. The helicopter crash that claimed Raisi's life remains shrouded in mystery. Was it a tragic accident or a calculated act of sabotage? The whispers of conspiracy echo through the bazaars and tea-houses of Iran. The truth for now remains elusive, lost in the swirling vortex of rumor and speculation. One thing is certain: Raisi's death has unleashed a wave of uncertainty that threatens to engulf the entire region. The delicate balance of power within Iran has been shattered, and the struggle for control has begun. The stakes are incredibly high, with the very future of the Islamic Republic hanging in the balance. The world watches with bated breath, wondering if Iran will implode under the weight of its internal divisions, or if a new leader will emerge from the ashes, someone who can unite the fractured nation and chart a new course for the Islamic Republic. The answer, when it comes, will have profound implications for the Middle East and the world. The spectre of Raisi's legacy hangs heavy over Iran. The question is not just who will succeed him, but what path they will choose. Will they continue down the path of repression and isolation, or will they seek a different future for Iran, one of reconciliation and engagement with the world? The world holds its breath, waiting for the answer. As Iran grapples with its uncertain present, it's worth turning to the wisdom of the ancients. Sun Tzu's teachings on warfare remain strikingly relevant today. His insights into conflict, terrain, and strategy offer valuable guidance. True victory lies in outmaneuvering and outsmarting your opponent. In Iran's turmoil, Sun Tzu's words take on new urgency. The death of President Raisi has left a gaping hole at the helm of the Iranian state. Like a ship adrift without a captain, the Islamic Republic is caught in a maelstrom of uncertainty, buffeted by internal divisions and external pressures. The question on everyone's lips is, who will seize the reins of power? The race to succeed Raisi is a complex and treacherous affair, with multiple factions vying for control. Hardline clerics, pragmatic politicians, ambitious military leaders and shadowy intelligence figures all are maneuvering behind the scenes, their ambitions cloaked in a veil of secrecy and intrigue. Adding to the complexity is the fragmented nature of Iran's political system. Power is not concentrated in one individual or institution, but is dispersed among a network of competing centers of authority. The clergy, the parliament, the Revolutionary Guard, the judiciary, each jealously guards its own prerogatives, making it difficult to forge a unified response to the crisis. The power vacuum created by Raisi's death has also exacerbated long-standing tensions within Iranian society. Hardliners, suspicious of any compromise with the West, are pitted against pragmatists who believe that engagement and reform are essential for Iran's future. The struggle between these two camps for the soul of the Islamic Republic will determine the course of the nation for years to come. Section 2. The Revolutionary Guard Guardians or Kingmakers. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a powerful force, protects the Islamic Republic from threats. With vast resources and loyalty to the supreme leader, the IRGC influences the power struggle. Their role in politics is intensely debated. Created after the 1979 revolution, the Guard has evolved into a formidable force. Their influence extends to politics, economics, culture, and society. Some see them as the true power, others view them with suspicion. The current crisis highlights these tensions. The IRGC's leadership faces a difficult choice. Their decision will shape Iran's future. The turmoil in Iran has sent shockwaves through the region and beyond. World leaders are watching closely, anxious about the potential for instability and conflict. The Middle East, already a tinderbox of competing interests and historical grievances, can ill afford another crisis. For the United States and its allies, the situation in Iran presents a strategic dilemma. They see an opportunity to weaken a regime they view as hostile and destabilizing, but they are wary of any action that could backfire and plunge the region into chaos. The Biden administration is treading cautiously, seeking to avoid escalating the situation. Israel, viewing Iran as an existential threat, is watching with particular concern. The Israeli government has threatened military action to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. The current unrest has heightened tensions, raising fears of a wider conflict. For Iran's neighbors in the Gulf, the situation is equally fraught. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are wary of any sign of weakness that could embolden Tehran. A collapse of the Iranian state could have disastrous consequences for the entire region. The world holds its breath as Iran stands at a crossroads. The path it chooses will have profound implications for the Middle East and the world. The stakes have never been higher. Dominating the western landscape of Iran, the Zagros Mountains stand as a formidable natural barrier, a testament to the raw power of geology. Stretching over 1,500 kilometers, these rugged peaks and deep valleys have for millennia served as a natural line of defense against invaders from the west, from the armies of Alexander the Great to the legions of Saddam Hussein.
Today, the Zagros Mountains remain as strategically important as ever. Iran's military planners, well aware of the mountain's defensive potential, have spent decades fortifying this natural barrier, creating a network of tunnels, bunkers, and hidden bases within the mountain's embrace. These mountain fortresses, some buried deep beneath the earth, are designed to withstand even the most intense bombardments. They provide shelter for troops, weapons, and command centers, making it exceedingly difficult for any enemy to establish a foothold in this rugged terrain.
The Zagros Mountains also offer another strategic advantage, the element of surprise. The terrain, with its countless hidden valleys and treacherous passes, is ideally suited for guerrilla warfare. Iran's elite Quds force, renowned for its unconventional warfare capabilities, has long trained in these mountains, honing their skills in the art of ambush and evasion.
In the event of a conflict, Iran could use the Zagros Mountains to tie down enemy forces, bleeding them white in a protracted and costly guerrilla campaign. The mountains, once a barrier to invasion, could become a graveyard for any army foolish enough to underestimate their unforgiving nature.
To the south, where the arid plains of Iran meet the warm waters of the Arabian Sea, lies the Persian Gulf, a body of water as strategically vital as it is geographically constricted. This shallow sea, home to some of the world's largest oil and gas reserves, is a lifeline for global energy markets, with tankers carrying millions of barrels of crude oil through its narrow waterways every day.
At the mouth of the Persian Gulf lies the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow passageway barely 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. This maritime choke point is arguably the most important shipping lane in the world, and Iran, with its long coastline and strategically located islands, controls one side of this vital waterway.
Iran's control of the Strait of Hormuz gives it considerable leverage in the event of a conflict. By deploying mines, anti-ship missiles and swarms of small, fast attack boats, Iran could effectively shut down the strait, choking off the flow of oil and sending shockwaves through the global economy.
The threat of closing the Strait of Hormuz has long been a key element of Iran's deterrent strategy, a way of reminding its adversaries of the potential costs of any military action against the Islamic Republic. Iran's vast deserts offer unique advantages for military deception. Trained in guerrilla warfare, Iran's forces can use the desert to disappear and reappear unexpectedly.
The sheer size of these arid landscapes makes monitoring difficult, allowing for undetected movements.
This ability to control the tempo of operations is a key element of Sun Tzu's teachings. Dictating the terms of engagement is crucial for victory. Iran embraces asymmetric warfare to exploit the vulnerabilities of stronger foes.
Iran has developed capabilities in cyber warfare, ballistic missiles, and proxy forces.
Victory today is about adapting, mastering new technologies, and exploiting enemy weaknesses.
The digital age has expanded the battleground. Iran's cyber warriors have demonstrated their ability to disrupt networks in the US, Israel, and Saudi Arabia.
These cyber attacks highlight Iran's growing prowess.
Iran's cyber capabilities allow it to project power and deter aggression without direct confrontation.
Iran relies on proxy warfare to advance its interests without direct combat.
This strategy allows Iran to exert influence and destabilize rivals.
Iran's proxies, like Hezbollah and the Houthi rebels, act as instruments of its foreign policy.
These forces enable Iran to wage war by other means.
Proxy warfare allows Iran to project power, but also exposes it to potential blowback. Ballistic missiles are central to Iran's military doctrine.
Iran has amassed a vast missile arsenal capable of striking throughout the Middle East.
These missiles are constantly upgraded for greater range and accuracy.
While Iran claims its missile program is defensive, its adversaries see it as a threat.
Iran's missiles serve as a credible deterrent against aggression. Warfare is a battleground of perception and deception.
Iran has embraced deception as a force multiplier.
Iran's intelligence services are adept at gathering and manipulating information.
Iran uses state-controlled media and online propaganda to shape narratives.
Controlling information flow is crucial to Iran's strategic objectives. Iran creates decoy targets to mislead enemy intelligence. These decoys mimic genuine military assets.
Ghost armies use decoys and electronic warfare to confuse enemies.
Creating doubt and uncertainty can be a decisive advantage. Whispers in the shadows, the role of double agents.
Double agents can inflict devastating damage.
Iran recruits and grooms double agents to gain access to sensitive information.
Motivations of double agents vary from ideology to coercion.
Double agents can provide crucial intelligence and sabotage enemy operations. Iran manipulates media to shape public opinion and influence the international community. Iran's propaganda exploits pre-existing prejudices and grievances.
Online campaigns target Western audiences with divisive content.
Controlling the narrative is as crucial as controlling the battlefield. Speed and decisiveness are hallmarks of Western military tradition.
Sun Tzu emphasized patience, timing, and strategic delay.
Iran seeks to prolong conflicts and exploit internal divisions.
Iran knows time is on its side, withstanding hardship and isolation.
Time is a strategic asset for Iran used to its advantage. In the game of chess, as in war, the player who controls the center often dictates the pace and direction. Iran, by virtue of its geographic location and regional alliances, occupies a central position.
Iran's strategy of strategic patience and attrition is about gradually wearing down its opponent's resolve. It is a war of attrition fought on multiple fronts: military, economic, political, and psychological.
Sun Tzu, in his timeless treatise on warfare, emphasized the importance of dividing one's enemies. Iran, facing a coalition of adversaries, understands this wisdom.
The United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the European Union do not always see eye to eye on the best way to contain Tehran. These divisions provide Iran with opportunities to exploit. For Iran, time is not just a weapon but also a shield. Every day that passes without a military strike against its nuclear facilities or its territory is a victory, a testament to the effectiveness of its deterrent strategy, its ability to sow doubt and uncertainty in the minds of its adversaries. Iran understands that the pressure it faces, the sanctions, the diplomatic isolation, the constant threat of military action, while undoubtedly painful, also carries within it the seeds of its own undoing. The longer these pressures persist, the more likely they are to backfire, eroding international support for a hardline stance against Tehran and fueling anti-Western sentiment within Iran itself.
Iran will seek to weather the storm, relying on its oil wealth, its trade relationships with China and Russia, and its capacity for endurance. It will also seek to exploit any missteps by its adversaries, any sign of weakness or division, to bolster its own position and undermine that of its enemies.
Iran's strategy is a high-stakes gamble, one that could just as easily lead to war as to peace. But it is a gamble that Tehran feels it has no choice but to take. For Iran, the stakes are too high, the potential consequences of inaction too dire to back down now. The waiting game continues.
Iran's strategy, a complex tapestry woven from military might, political cunning, and economic resilience, is a high-stakes gamble on a geopolitical chessboard.
By embracing asymmetric warfare, Iran seeks to level the playing field, transforming weaknesses into strengths.
But reliance on proxies and cyber warfare is a double-edged sword. These tools can deter aggression but also escalate tensions.
The international community views Iran's growing military capabilities with alarm. The specter of a nuclear-armed Iran fuels an arms race.
Iran's path is fraught with peril but offers a glimmer of hope.
Amidst escalating tensions and the threat of war, the path to peace remains open. It requires stepping back from the brink and engaging in dialogue based on mutual respect.
The first step is de-escalation. The US and allies must resist military responses, understanding it inflames the situation. Iran must cease supporting terrorist groups and developing ballistic missiles. It must show commitment to peace.
The next step is diplomacy. Direct talks without preconditions are essential. These talks are crucial for a peaceful resolution.
The international community, especially the EU, Russia, and China, must facilitate dialogue. Their influence can help build trust and lasting peace.
The world watches and waits, holding its breath, as Iran stands at a crossroads, its future uncertain, its destiny hanging in the balance. The decisions made in Tehran, in Washington, and in capitals around the world in the days and weeks ahead will have profound consequences, not just for the Middle East, but for the entire global order.
The stakes are high. War, if it comes, would be a catastrophe, unleashing forces that could easily spiral out of control, engulfing the region in flames and sending shockwaves through the global economy. The human cost, both in terms of lives lost and livelihoods destroyed, would be immeasurable.
But amidst the uncertainty and the very real threat of conflict, there is also a glimmer of hope. A sense that this pivotal moment, this confluence of events, could yet present an opportunity for a new beginning, a chance to break free from the cycle of mistrust, hostility, and violence that has plagued the region for far too long.
The path forward is clear, but it will not be easy. It will require courage, wisdom, and a willingness to compromise on all sides. It will require leaders who are willing to look beyond the immediate crisis, to see the bigger picture, and to act in the best interest of their people, their region, and indeed, the entire world.
As the world grapples with the complexities of the Iranian crisis, seeking a path forward that avoids the abyss of war, it is worth recalling the words of Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese military strategist whose wisdom continues to resonate across the centuries. The supreme art of war, Sun Tzu wrote, is to subdue the enemy without fighting. These words, though spoken millennia ago, carry a profound message for our time. They remind us that true victory lies not in the clash of armies, the roar of cannons, or the devastation of war, but in the pursuit of peace, the triumph of diplomacy, and the enduring power of human understanding. Iran, the United States, and the international community stand at a crossroads. The path to war is well trodden, paved with the wreckage of past conflicts and the broken promises of peace. The path to peace is less certain, more challenging, and requires a leap of faith. The choice is ours to make. Let us hope that we have the wisdom to choose wisely, to heed the lessons of history, and to embrace the timeless wisdom of Sun Tzu for the sake of our children, our future, and the very survival of our planet.